Now it's time to learn about website hacking or web application penetration testing. But first of all, you must know that what is a website, because if you don't know what a website is, then how can you able to perform attacks on any website, right? Then we will learn what is a web server. For example, Apache is a very popular web server around the world because more than 60% of the websites are running on Apache server, and Apache web server runs on Linux, right? Now if you don't know about Apache web server, then you must go to the second last section of this course, which is Linux for beginners, and go to the last lecture of that section, which consists of what is Apache web server and how you can configure it, right? Then we will perform footprinting of websites. It is very important to perform collection of information of our target before launching attacks. As you know, if you are performing system hacking, or you are performing network hacking, or you are performing website hacking, collection of information is the very first step you must follow, right? Then we will perform two or three of the major attacks like SQL and XSS or cross-site scripting, and denial of service attack or distributed denial of service attack on both virtual and live websites. Now it is very important to perform all of these attacks first in the virtual environment, because you are just developing your skills of website hacking. Using virtual environment, you won't lose any of your data, right? And you will also gain some of the important skills. So if you learn any new tool or techniques from the internet, it is best to perform it first in the virtual environment, and once you become comfortable, then only you will go for the live website hacking, right? And remember, you only perform live website hacking by taking all the required permissions from the owner of the website. Okay? So in my case, I am going to use a virtual environment where I have installed three different systems. The first virtual machine is running on Windows 10, the second is running on Kali Linux, and the third one is Metasploitable, which will act as a web server. And it has inbuilt some of the demo websites to perform these attacks, right? Now it is not necessary to create a new virtual environment. You can use your previously configured virtual machines as we have created at the time of system hacking. So let's start with what is a website and what is web server. So this is my PC, and with the help of a browser, I have opened twitter.com, which is a website. Now, the part which you are seeing here is called as front end. Okay, so it is basically a HTML page. HTML is a markup language, so it is basically a HTML page, and every website you open, for example, if you open facebook.com, then also you will able to see the front end part of this website, right? So every website is divided into two main parts. First is front end and second is back end. Now the part which you will able to see is called as front end or client side, and the other is back end, which is server side. So there are different technologies used in both front end and back end. For example, the front end part will use HTML, okay, and also JavaScript. So if you visit any unknown website and that website will ask you to run JavaScript, then don't allow that website, okay, because JavaScript will execute on your PC and not on the server, right? So if you don't trust the website, don't allow it to run JavaScript. Now if you talk about backend, which is a server side, which is a web server side. So web server is nothing but a computer like your computer, okay? It is no different, but it has more power than your computer. It has more memory. It has more storage. Okay. But the working of web server is same as your PC. Okay, you can also install Windows operating system on server. You can also install Mac OS. You can also install Linux. Right. Now, the technologies your server understand is PHP, Python, MySQL, etc. So MySQL is a database and Apache is a web server. So web server and database are two of the main components which a server must have in order to become a web server. So these are the two main applications. Any computer having these two applications has capability to become a web server, right? So if you want to perform an attack on the server side, then you must create your attack in a language which web server understand, like PHP, Python, etc. And if you want your attack to perform on the client side, then you will create that attack in JavaScript. Okay, so these are the basics of what is a website and what is a web server. Okay, now in the next lesson I will teach you how exactly what is happening behind the scenes when you try to access a website like facebook.com. So this is the basic structure of how we can access a website. So this is your PC and you have opened your browser and you want to access facebook.com, right? But your request first go to DNS server. Now what is DNS server? It is a computer server that contains database of public IP addresses and their associated host names. So the job of DNS server is to convert the domain name into its associated IP address. So this is the IP address of web server, right? Then it will forward request to a web server. So this is the web server where facebook.com is hosted, right? Now, in worst cases where we are not able to hack into our target website because it is highly secure, then we must try to find out other websites running on the same server. Okay. Now you must know that a single web server can host multiple websites. So if we able to manage to hack into any other website on the same server, then we can also take access or full control of this web server. That way we will able to control facebook.com, right? So the web page which you see on your PC is a HTML format, right? So this is the basic of how we can access a website. I hope now you know that the part of website which you and I able to see is made up of HTML and sometimes JavaScript also. And server is a computer just like yours, but it understands Python and PHP like programming languages, and it has web server and database installed, which makes it a web server, right? Web server like Apache and database like MySQL. Now there are many other web server or databases available over the internet. You can easily find their names by searching on google.com, but I focus on Apache and MySQL because they have more share than their competitors, right? Now let's start with the first step, which is footprinting of website. So let's see what we will discover or collect information about our target website. So first we will find out its IP address. Then we will look for domain name information like the name of the owner which registered the domain, the contact number of the owner, the email ID of the owner, etc. Then we will find out what programming languages a website has used, okay, and other applications as well. like whether it is using Apache web server or it is using IIS web server, which is Windows based web server, okay, and what kind of database the website is using. Then we will see about DNS records. Then we will try to find out directories which are listed on the websites as well as which is hidden by the owner. And we will also try to find out other websites which are running on the same server. So let's open your browser and type whois, okay, whois lookup. Now let's open the first one. So whois is a database which contain information about the owner of a domain name. For example, if I type let me zoom it first so that you will able to see it. So I typed shubhamparik.in. It is a domain name. Now let's search for the information of this website, okay? By the way, this is my website and it's not working for now. If you try to access this website, it says website is down. Now it has provided some important informations like the website is 510 days old, okay, the website is created on this date and will expire on this date and is updated on this date, right? It also provide DNS server information like this domain is using Hostinger services, okay, so Hostinger is my web hosting company, okay. This is the IP address of the server and this is the IP location, right? Okay, now you have to fill CAPTCHA to gain more information about your target domain, and you also have to create an account with them. That way you will able to access some of the more information. So let's change another website which is who.is, okay. See, these are the similar websites which provide similar results. So let's try to find out using who.is, and I hope it will provide some other informations. Okay, data currently unavailable. So let's try on another website which is shubhamparik.com. Let's search for it. Okay, so it says registrar info is GoDaddy. So I have purchased this domain from godaddy.com, but it has already expired and I am not the owner of this domain anymore, right? I don't own this website now, but it says domain name is this, registrar is GoDaddy, and website updation creation date. So the similar information is provided by who.is. So there is not much of a difference. You can also see DNS records clearly, which is not available on the previous website. So you will able to see the DNS records, okay, like CNAME, A records, etc. Okay, so these are the very basics where you can find out the information about the owner, about the IP address. Okay, so let's see one more method of finding IP address of a website. So let's open command prompt and type ping www.shubhamparik.in. okay, remember this is the same IP as we have seen from who.is website or whois database. In the previous video, we have used whois database in order to collect information about the owner of our target website. Now, let's try to find out some more information regarding our target website. So for that, you have to visit toolbar.netcraft.com, or you can download and browser extension for the same. It will provide you a quick review about a website. Now here on the left hand side, click on site report and you will get this web page, right? Now here enter the URL of your target website, let's say facebook.com. So this time we are going to target facebook.com. So here is the report. It says site title is this, date first seen, okay, primary language, and site rank. Risk rating, so it is risk free, right? Here is the network information about facebook.com, like this is the domain name, here is the IP address, so it is IPv4 version 4, and here is version 6, and this is the address of the organization, okay, hosting country, and this is the hosting history, okay. So the server where facebook.com is hosted is running on Linux, right? Now you have some more information here as well. So it is using PHP, and SSL is installed on facebook.com, which is a good thing, okay. JavaScript, it is using Facebook CDN. CDN is the content delivery network. It increases the speed of your website. And other information like zzip, okay. So zzip is a compression, okay, which is used by the companies. You will find these informations on your control panel on your hosting dashboard. And some other information, okay, HTML5 is used, CSS is used, so that is a good thing, right? So you have seen many other information which is not possible if you go for Whois database, right? So netcraft.com is a very important website which help you to gain more information about your target website. So we have used Whois and Netcraft in order to collect information about our target website. This time let's use roptex.com, okay. It will provide you some more information which Whois and Netcraft is not able, right? So this time our target is twitter.com. Now here is the report, and report is divided into different sections. So first is analysis, which provide you IP address and host name informations, okay. So these are the DNS information about twitter.com. These are the information of mail servers, and these are IP addresses, okay. Again, quick information like twitter.com registry, IP numbers, name server, mail server, etc. Here are the DNS records, okay. There is a huge list of DNS records. Then there is SEO. It is search engine optimization. It is a technique using which you will able to improve your website ranking in search engine results page. And then there is trustworthiness, okay, child safety, etc. Now Alexa rank, again some basic information, and here CNAME, IP numbers, okay, name servers, etc. Now here subdomains and host names. See, many a time it happens that the main domain of a website like twitter.com, www.twitter.com, you are trying to hack twitter.com, but it is very secure. So what you can do is, these are the big websites. Generally, before launching any new feature, they first start beta testing. So they assign subdomain like beta.twitter.com or name of the new feature.twitter.com, right? Like this. Here it is, this one, okay, or mx003.twitter.com. So these are subdomains. You can try to hack into these subdomains, okay. So there are more chances that you will able to hack into subdomains rather than attacking on the main domain, okay. Now here is the graph also, but you have to log in to see other history and Whois information, okay. And this is DNS block list, right? So these are some of the information which Whois and Netcraft is not able to provide you. So you have learned how you can collect information about your target website using Whois database, using Netcraft toolbar, and by using roptex.com. In this lesson, we will see how we can hack into a target website using SQL injection. So in my virtual environment, I am using Kali Linux as my client machine, and I am going to access web server directly using IP address. Okay, I am not using DNS server in between, and this is my web server, and web server is Metasploitable. So Metasploitable using a web server called Apache and database name MySQL, right? So what is SQL? Okay, or SQL injection. So SQL injection is a very popular vulnerability, right? And SQL is a structured query language which help a website to interact with its database. As you know, most of the websites use databases to store their data. Okay, data like username, password, or credit card information, etc. And so the data is stored in databases in the form of tables which consist of rows and columns. Okay, so SQL is the language which help a web application to interact with data in order to read data, update data, or delete data, etc. Now here is the Metasploitable, which is a web server. So first of all, let's find out its IP address. It is 10.0.2.5. Now let's switch to client machine, which is Kali. Okay, and now I am not going to hack into any website. Instead, I first want you to show how database look like. So MySQL -u stands for user. Username is root. Now my web server, which is Metasploitable, is not using any password, and then the IP of the web server. See, now I am in the MySQL of 10.0.2.5. The first command we use is databases. Okay, so show databases and semicolon, hit enter, and here you will see all of the databases, right? Now we will use this one. So let's type use dvwa. Okay, and hit enter. It says database changed. Now type show tables. As I told you that data is stored in the form of tables. So here are two tables. First is guest book and other is users. So let's see information about users. So select star from users, hit enter, and see, this way you get access to a database of a website. So this is the user ID, first name, last name, and this is the username, which is admin. Okay, and then there is password. Okay, and this is the URL to access or to get a login page. Okay, no, actually it's a JPG, right? So we go to the login page of DVWA, and then if we try this as the username and this is the password, we will able to get access into that website, right? So let's exit for now, and let me open a browser, let's say Firefox, and if you type 10.0.2.5, you will able to see all of the web applications that are hosted on Metasploit. Okay, now you can open any of them. So this is DVWA. Okay, it's using PHP, and here you can enter username and password as we have extracted earlier, right? Let's go back, and if you want to access to a database, you can also go to phpMyAdmin. Okay, so these are some of the pre-configured websites in Metasploitable. Okay, so that penetration testers can perform their penetration testing techniques on all of these websites, right? So as you know that we have increased the security level to arrogant. Now if I try admin and password as single code, it says dangerous characters detected. Okay, which means it is filtering out these kind of characters, so we are not able to use SQL injection here. Now we are not sure whether the filtering is happening on the client side or on the server side. So to find it out, we are going to use Burp Suite. Okay, so Burp Proxy will help us to determine whether the filtering is happening on the client side or on the server side. So here is the Burp Suite. Simply click this and it will open. Here it is, right? Now the function of Burp Suite is whenever we try to load any website using a browser, the request first go to Burp Suite, and once we forward the request, only then we will able to access to that website, right? Now let's see what I mean by that. So if you try to access Matilde home page, right? Now it's running. Okay, so we have to perform some changes in security settings. So go to preference, and under preference we have to search for XY, that is network proxy. Go to settings, and now here simply click on manual proxy configuration. Enter the localhost IP here and port number would be 8080. Click on OK. Right, now let's try to reload the page. Okay, this time it's waiting, so let's switch to Burp. Okay, here we received the request. Now let's forward this request. Right, now let's switch back to our browser, and you can see that the home page is open now, right? So let's go to login page again. Again we have to go to Burp first and forward the request. Only then we will able to get our login page. Now as you know, if I type any of the SQL injection, it says dangerous character detected. But if I type simple password like ABCD, okay, and hit enter, nothing happens. Okay, you will not able to see error like bad characters and all. Okay, but still this password is not correct. So let's see how we can bypass this. So okay, it's waiting for the request to forward in Burp. So let's forward this request, and see it says bad username or password. Okay, which is a authentication error. It is not filtering out the simple characters, right? So now let's see. This time we use SQL injection. I am using single quote and hit enter. So see, this request is not going on Burp Suite, which means it is filtering out the dangerous characters on the web page itself, okay, before sending it to the Burp, which means the filtering is happening on the client side and not on the server side. So let's see how we can bypass this. So let's type the simple password like ABCDEF, hit enter, and let's switch to Burp. Now here don't forward the request, go to params, okay, which is parameters, and here is the password. Okay, so let's change the password to the previous one which we have used in the previous video. Okay, this one. So let's copy this and paste the password here. Okay, now forward the request. Okay, forward again. Now let's switch back to browser, and you will see that we are successfully logged in as admin, right? Now you might notice that I am using SQL injection in the password field, right, and not on the username, because I know the username is admin. But what if you don't know the username as well as password? Well, in that case we will try SQL injection on the username field. Okay, so let's try this. So let's remove admin, and let's say we don't know the username, so type XYZ. Okay, and then we will make it a SQL injection. So single code, then the condition 1 is equal to 1, and then hash. Okay, So let's copy it, switch back to browser and paste it. Okay, now in the password type anything like 1 2 3 4 5 6 etc. Hit enter. Now forward. See, this time the security is set to low. Okay, so we have successfully logged in as admin. Okay, now let's increase the security. Again, we have to forward this request, otherwise we will not able to access to the website. Okay, so as you can see, the security level is set to arrogant. So let's log out. Again, we have to forward this request. Done. Now let's try SQL injection again, but this time it won't work, as we know that we have increased the security. So let's change it to the normal text like ABCDEF, and password would be ABCD. Hit enter. Now here, now it is the security level 1, so we have to make changes here to bypass client side security. So single code, again our SQL injection. Okay, now let's forward the request and see whether we able to get access into that website or not. See, we have logged in as admin. Okay, so login is successful, right? Now let's increase security to top, okay, to level 5, which is the highest level of security in our virtual environment. Okay, and this level of security is sufficient to stop attacks like SQL injection. Okay, so now we have increased the security level to 5, which says it is secure now. Okay, so let's log out from here and try to perform SQL injection attack again, but this time we are not able to get access into this website as the security level is set to maximum. Okay, so let's try attack again. Let's say admin and password would be ABCD. Hit enter. Now again, let's make it a SQL injection. 1 is equal to 1 hash, and this time let's try to make password field as well. Okay, so let's change it. Okay, and click on forward. Okay, see, it says bad username or password. So this kind of security is sufficient to stop SQL injection attacks. Now what is happening behind the scenes? The web page has given instructions using secure coding that whenever in the username or password field you found characters like single quote or double quote, then just remove them, because username and password will only accept plain text. Okay, for example, let's say we have used this injection on both username and password. Now web page will ignore this single quote, okay, and make it a plain text, because whenever we remove single quote from our injection, then this is no longer a SQL injection. It is just a normal text, right? So this way you can secure. If you are a programmer, then you must know how to secure from attacks like SQL injection and cross-site scriptings, right? So our attacks won't work in level 5 security in our virtual environment. Okay, now in the next video I will perform SQL injection attack on live websites, right? Okay, Now I will perform SQL injection attack on live websites. So I have opened Tor browser for this to maintain privacy, and let's use Google keywords like in URL colon. Now I hope you know the meaning of this. In URL means whatever words I am typing here in front of these keywords, show me the results where these words contain in the URL of a website. For example, if I type admin login php, okay, and hit enter, then you will get results only where the URL of a website will contains these three words, okay. So admin, login and php. So only show me the login page in PHP, okay. So this way you will filter out the results. Now if I add one more keyword like site colon and then IN, okay, IN for India. So you can see that it's showing me the URL with .in, admin, login and PHP. Okay, so all of these words are contained in the search engine results, right? Okay, so let's open one more tab and let's try this on, let's say, PK for Pakistan, right? So now we have all of these results from .pk websites only, okay. For example, if I open any of these websites, I will get direct access to its login page, right? Now it doesn't matter whether the website is secure or not, SQL injection still works on both of these, okay, because some of the websites owner are not aware of this vulnerability or they don't care about website security, right? So now I will pause the video because I have to open some random websites, and to maintain the privacy of a website and its owner, I will edit this video and hide some of the important informations. I found two different websites which are vulnerable to SQL injection, okay, and the important information is hidden just to maintain the privacy. Now this is the SQL injection which is working on these two websites, okay. See, it is not mandatory that a single SQL injection will work on all of the websites which are vulnerable to SQL, okay. So we have a list of SQL injections here. I will attach this list with the resources of this lecture, okay. You can download it from there, okay. So you have to try every single SQL injection on both username as well as password field, okay. So here is the username and password, right? Simply click here, and this is the admin panel, right? Now we can do whatever we want because we are now admin here, okay. You can see here which says admin dashboard.php, right? So for now, let me close this website. Remember, never try to log out from a website, okay, because that will create logs, right? So disconnect the session, and now here is another website. So let's try the same injection on this as well, and if I try to log in, okay, so it has given me the access and here is the data of this website. Now I have hidden some of the important information just to maintain the privacy of the website as well as its customers, right? Okay, so this way you can hack a live website using SQL injection. Now being a responsible person, don't try to hack a website without the permission of the owner, okay. So now you know how you can use SQL injection in order to hack a website both in virtual environment as well as on live environment. Now, what if your target website is highly secure? Let's say youtube.com is your target website. Now we know that YouTube is a highly secure website and the attacks which we are using like SQL and XSS won't work on that website, right? So what should we do now? Well, we have one more option. First, we have to find out that what other websites that are running on the same server on which youtube.com is hosted. So to get a list of that websites, we have to visit a website which is yougetsignal.com. Okay, now let's open this website. So here you will find many different options. Okay, so this website will also help you to find open ports of your connection. Okay, you can also find out your IP address, and then other tools like location, trace route, okay, email lookup, like figure out who's emailing you. Okay, now the option which we are interested in is this one, which says reverse IP domain check. So find other websites on a web server. So let's open this link and let's type our target website URL, which is youtube.com. okay, click on check, and now this website has provided a list of around 336 domains that are hosted on the same server as youtube.com. right? Now we know that youtube.com is a highly secure website, but maybe there is at least one website on this server which is vulnerable. Okay, so that we have to try every attack on all of these websites, and if we able to gain access to any one of these website, then we can gain control over a full control over a server. Okay, there are many viruses available over the internet. So if you upload that kind of viruses on a server, then you can gain access to a server, and then you can take control of any of these websites which are running on that server. So I hope now you understand that if you will not able to hack into youtube.com, then you have to try attacks on each of these websites. Okay, now you know how you can use SQL injection in order to hack a website, but the whole process is manually, so you have to take part in the whole process, right? But now in this video we will see how we can automate the process, and we will use a tool called SQL Map. So what is SQL Map and how it actually works? So we will start with what is SQL Map first. So SQL Map is a software that helps us to detect and exploit vulnerabilities in database. Also, it will help us to inject some malicious code into that database, and it is an open source software. So let's see how it works. First of all, let's open the browser and let's switch to Matilde. So we have to enter the IP address of a web server and then open Matilde. Now here we have to switch to this tab which says injection, extract data and user info. Okay, now here enter any username or password. Okay, because we don't know the password, so I have entered the wrong password. Now copy this URL and close the browser, and here type SQL map -u. Now why I am using -u? For this you have to type --help. Okay, and here are so many options you can use with SQL map, right? So I am using -u so that I can enter the URL or the target URL, right? So there are so many options, we will use some of them, but first let's continue with SQL map -u and then paste the URL. Okay, and close this in double quotes. Now I have added double quotes so that SQL map will read each special character like dot, hyphen, is equal to, etc. right? And hit enter. And now let's wait for the process to complete. So it's a long process, so I have to pause the video. Now it's asking some questions like, do you want to skip the test payloads? Okay, so you can press Y here, and again you can press Y. And now let's wait for the process to complete. Finally, the process has been completed, and here is the output. It says the backend database management system is MySQL, which is correct. Now operating system version is Linux Ubuntu, PHP version is this, and web server, which is Apache, is running on 2.2.8 version, right? And MySQL version is 5. Now all of the information provided here is absolutely correct, right? Now it says fetch data log to text file under this. So anytime if you want to see this output again, you can switch to this directory. Okay, this is the path where this data has been stored, right? Now let's see what more we can do using SQL map, and let's explore the database. And now, okay, so repeat the command, last command, and then type current -db. db stands for database. So we are asking SQL map that which is the current database. Here press 0, which is default, and now you can see that the current database name is OWASP 10. Okay, so let's repeat the command, and this time as we know the database name, so we use -d and then the name of the database, and then hyphen columns. Okay, so now we will asking SQL map to show all of the available columns under OWASP 10 database. So here is a list of all of the columns, right? So we will use, let's say, this one, username and password. Okay, both of these. So let's try them, and let's remove columns. Type -C, and then name of the column, let's say password, comma, username. Username. Okay, and then hyphen tables. Hit enter, and now we will asking SQL map to show all of the available tables under these two columns. So 0, done. Now here are all of the available tables, right? So repeat the last command and type T and then the name of the table, which is accounts. Okay, and then hyphen dump, right? Now let's wait for the output. So here are all the available usernames and passwords, right? So this way you can use SQL map to automate the process of injecting SQL injections and exploring the database, right? Now this only works on the websites which are SQL vulnerable. In this lesson, we will talk about DOS and DDoS attacks. So DOS stands for denial of service attack and DDoS stands for distributed denial of service attack. Now what is DOS attack? DOS means creating a fake traffic, a huge amount of fake traffic on your target, so that your target will unable to handle that much of traffic and will crash. So to make resources unavailable is the main aim of DOS attack, right? Now, your target could be anything, a normal computer, a server, or a website. So let's understand both DOS and DDoS one by one. So here is the scenario of DOS attack or denial of service attack. So this is the attacker machine, and in this type of attack, an attacker can directly use his own machine to perform DOS attack on the target. But he will also hack a new computer, an unknown PC, and will use that PC as an attacker machine to perform the DOS attack on the target, so that whenever investigation is conducted, the security experts will assume that this is the attacker machine and This one is the real criminal. So to protect ourselves, the attackers would do these kind of attacks, right? They will hack another machine and then use that machine to perform attack on the target, right? But to protect ourselves from these kind of attacks, security experts will use more than one server, right? Suppose your target is an website, so experts will host that website on more than one server, so that whenever traffic increases, they will divide the traffic on all of that servers, right? They are using load balancers to help protect from DOS attacks, right? Now DOS attack is used normally to take down small targets, okay? But if your target is big, like your target is Wikipedia, then DOS attack will not work on that website, okay? So you have to go for distributed denial of service attack, right? Which is DDoS. In this DDoS attack, a group of hackers will come together to take down a big target, right? So suppose this is hacker A, this is hacker B, and this is hacker C. So a single hacker would hack some other machines, right? Like this. And then they all come together and will use all of these machines, okay, to take down a big target, right? So this is the minimum scenario, because in real world a single hacker would hack 10, 20 or even more machines. So a single hacker may use 20 machines, then a group of hackers, let's say 50 or 100, okay, then multiply them by 20. So that much of machines come together or use together to take down a big target. Now recently, if you heard the news, in September 2019, Wikipedia has faced DDoS attack and is unavailable in some of the countries, right? So DDoS attack, once started, cannot be stopped easily, right? You can't stop DDoS attack by using load balancers or by blocking the IP address, okay? But you can use this kind of security in DOS attack, right? So DDoS attack is a very harmful attack, and both DOS and DDoS attacks are illegal in approximately all of the countries. So be aware before using these kind of attacks on real target, until and unless you have the full permission to do so, right?